Brian, you good over there?
Board's starting up. Give me a second. Kidding. I think it's just loading.
Well, are you in Discord? HDMI 1, but you're in HDMI 3.
Yeah.
Good. All right, cool. All right. All right, folks, let's call the Wednesday, May 22nd Town Building Committee meeting to order. First order of business, OPM update. It's easy for me to say. Hazardous materials consultant authorization.
Yes.
Ms. Philip
All
Rose.
right, Mr. Chairman, we have on the owner, for the owner has to bring on a consultant to monitor independently third party while the abatement work is going on. We have money allotted in our budget to cover this scope. We were expecting to extend services from Pier, the consultant that Context has. We just learned recently that they actually don't do construction phase services.
Oh, there you go.
So we went out to a company that we've worked with on many other projects. They've always been the most competitive, UEC, and we received a proposal from them. And the proposal from them is estimated on 25 working days. That's worst case. We actually
You just have the building. It's just basically the building, right?
yeah, it's the but there's two different phases of work. We have to do the traditional abatement removal, and then the block on the clubhouse has vermiculite in the cores.
Okay, good.
So that goes out on a non-traditional work plan. So that requires continuous monitoring on site.
So the vermiculite may have asbestos within it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It's been tested to have it. So so we expect 4 weeks, so 20 working days. The proposal's for 25. So they gave us a worst case scenario. So at 16,500, we had double that in our budget allotted. So it's well under what we were expecting, and I fully expect it to be less than this. So we're asking for a recommendation or an approval to proceed with them.
Folks, any questions for Brian? I'll take a motion to approve the hazardous materials consultant proposal.
Not to exceed 16,500 by UEC.
So moved. I'll second that. Oh, well, you have to take
I think you moved and seconded it. That's impressive.
You move it, I'll second
We're
it.
gonna let you
I'll
move it.
move- I'll
We'll let
move
Kyle
it.
second
I'll
it.
move it.
There we go. I know we've been off for a while, guys. You can tell, right?
It's been a long day today,
Yeah,
but
no
yeah, I'll move it, thank you.
Okay. All in
I'll
favor?
second it. Okay,
Aye.
great.
Aye.
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 B, communication tower procurement update.
Okay, the communication tower, we had Industrial Communications as the vendor that we were going to use through the state purchasing contract. The town's council has let us know that the state purchasing contract rules for that particular scope, when the labor exceeds $10,000, we actually have to get three proposals from within the vendors in the state purchasing contract. So we are out for a solicitation. We have three additional that have responded. The deadline is this Friday. After I get that in, then we'll level them and see where we're at. So it's so we're a little bit behind where we wanted to be, but this is in order to make sure that we follow the proper procurement. There's been a few recent bid protests related to this, and I think this, in the past. The rules weren't followed quite exactly. It used to be a $50,000 threshold, but there's kind of some gray area in there, and the town council said we need to be protected ourselves here and make sure that we cover our bases. So that's why we're doing this. All right.
Any questions for Brian, folks?
Yeah, so originally, what was it? We couldn't use them under the state purchasing because it was like 51,000 or something, and their limit was 50, so we had to go through a different process to continue on with. And now we're finding, is it the same limit is actually lower, or this is just
Actually
another
lower.
limit?
Yeah, it's low. It's actually 10,000, not 50. Most state purchasing contracts are 50. This particular one that was just issued recently, they changed it to 10,000.
Okay.
So it's, we were all kind of operating on standard operating procedures, and the attorney sort of clued us into, they actually made an exception on this contract for 10. So they're checking the boxes and making sure everything's exactly right, and they did their job. The 50,000 that you're referring to was the foundation work for the tower. Our solution back then was to remove that scope and give it to W.T. Rich to address that particular issue. Now that we've gone out for a request to 3, we don't need to do that anymore. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks.
All right, items 1C, AV vendor contract status.
Alex.
The AV vendor contract, we've put together the contract and sent it off to the town's lawyer to be approved. So it's where it stands right now. Hopefully it gets approved and we send it off to Valley to get signed.
Sounds good. Questions on the AV vendor, folks? Seeing none. All right. 1D, construction materials vendor contract status.
We're actually working on that contract. We're drafting the contract today. We'll have it to the town council tomorrow. So we're moving along in that process.
Beautiful. Mass dot permit status.
So we've completed the 25% review with Mass DOT. I'm told that after we get through that threshold, things will move quicker. It's been 6 months since we submitted our application.
I think you're at the glacial pace of the state. That's where it's going to stay. So,
Right. So, I know, Mr. Chairman, you've seen some of the correspondence with our consultants, so unfortunately, we're at the state's mercy right now. But that's all I can offer right now for an update.
So, Frank, I believe we were looking to draft a letter for again, if memory serves. So, how are we handling that? That was an action item from last meeting.
Well, I think the letter's already been drafted and sent to them, so I'm not sure. We had talked about a couple different things, whether it's speaking to the state delegation, if there's anything that could be done there.
Yeah, or I think Chief Sampson was going to chime in too, maybe potentially. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I think it was most appropriate to get as many signatures on this letter as possible, just to, not that it's probably not going to matter, but
I think
Try our
town meeting
best.
got away from us too a little bit,
Yeah.
so.
All right, so
it's
maybe
like talking to the wall.
let's keep that one
Discuss
on for the
this.
next meeting, and hopefully we can
We'll
get
get
that squared
Okay.
away.
Got it. All right. Thanks.
All right, pre-construction survey update.
Okay, we have Hartford Structural Inspections was the third party that we hired to manage the pre-construction survey. They have completed their work and have issued a summary report to us of the results. And I'll put it up on the board because I can't remember the numbers. So we had 21 houses that were fully surveyed inside and out. These are the abutters within, I forget the exact radius that the committee was, about 300 feet from the
300 feet, I think we did,
construction area. Not the property line, but within the construction zone. That's the radius that we drew. So 21 participated. We had 11 that did not respond to 3 requests. And then exterior, 2 elected to just have an exterior survey of their properties and 1 declined. So all of the video survey files are with HSI. Hopefully we'll never have to access them. But this was to protect both the residents and the town in case there's ever a dispute in the future. We have this as a baseline. So we have concluded that in advance of the construction. So.
Yeah, so typically, guys, this is just kind of looking at like the walls and stuff inside, in case cracks appear, make sure that they weren't already existing, that type of thing. Pretty common stuff.
HSI will be around in 5 years.
Yes.
That's the goal.
I used them 4 years ago, so they've been around a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm using them in Wakefield right now, actually.
I can ask them to get a link, and then we can upload it to our files.
Some place where the town has access, and if it needs to, it can crack it open, as opposed to having to go to some other company and
Yeah, no, I
crack it.
gotcha.
Yeah, crack the code. All right, alerting vendor update.
So Alex, you've been working with Allcom?
I have been. I've been in contact with Delvis a couple of times, and Delvis Javier, and he is working on putting together a proposal. So looking to get that out as soon as possible.
So the scope of work, the drawings are complete, and it's with Contact's team has updated their drawings. We're going to be receiving a pricing request, 'cause a few adjustments, few additions. And so that'll be coming out. And while that's happening, we'll be getting a price for all the actual equipment that will be provided by Alcom.
Okay, so we're looking maybe next meeting, a
Yep.
couple meetings down the road, okay. And last for you folks, EV charger grant.
We worked with OP Connect to submit to the Mass EVIP program, so it's in there. Now we just have to wait the 2 or 3 months for our highly efficient state to get our answers back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So we've completed everything that we can.
Beautiful. All right, well, thanks, folks, much appreciated. Item 2, architect update, project sign review and approval. See some signage.
Yeah, so we submitted a proposed sign for the project. It's a 2-part sign, 2 4-foot by 8-foot sheets.
Yep.
They could be used at the groundbreaking as well as the project sign for the duration of the project. One is a sign that is primarily renderings, and one is a sign that has a rendered site plan
Beautiful.
renderings.
Just to show you the two.
Massachusetts is spelled wrong.
Not spelled correctly?
No, probably want to grab that extra T, put that extra T in there. That'd be good.
And I'll also note my last name ends in an H rather than a K.
It looks like Mr. Garber's name is misspelled on the list there as well.
As far as I can see from here.
Right, yeah.
Neither of
So
us
it's
looked at
approved
it.
then.
No,
So it
neither
sounds
of
like,
us looked at it
yeah, it
since
sounds like a bang-up job on this one. No, I'm joking, I am joking.
And I think both with different select board chairs.
I can't even see if my name's spelled right, but,
Enhance.
all right.
What?
Enhance.
Enhance, yeah. That's it. Enhance. Is that what you said?
Grabber.
Oh,
Careful.
that's a unfortunate misspelling right there.
Be unfortunate if it made it to the sign.
I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Grabber about that.
There was a T missing. Where was that?
Massachusetts.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
You looking for a
And
second?
you want to see the committee?
Yeah, just make sure we
members?
got our names right at least. Yeah, we're good.
Mine's good.
Oh, yeah, Justin.
Is there a reason there's a comma after Paul Armitage?
H.
It's BECH, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
BE, yeah, so. it's-
Catherine.
All right. So I think we revise.
Yeah, we have a few
Right, so
edits.
that-
This is a draft, obviously.
Yeah.
I know it, but I was thinking of something else. I go by
Besides listing the
Chief RET.
select board alphabetical, is there anything else you'd like to see differently on this? Obviously, it's correct.
K. So it's back.
Keep George on
I mean, he's not here anymore, but I would say we probably still keep George on there, right? I mean, worked for, you know.
Do you want to add Roger back in then too?
Yeah,
Or do
you-
like former member?
Yeah, we can do that. But why don't we do it that way? Put former members in there. That's a great way to do it, Jackie. Yeah.
So Roger and
And George.
George.
Well, I was gonna say at the end of the meeting, but considering we already mentioned George, we just want to give him a big thank you for all the work, obviously on the planning committee and then on the building committee as well. So,
Thank you, George.
thanks, George. You'll be missed.
Okay.
You put Andy in there as well for former members, ex officio, Bill? Andy Sheehan?
I don't think we do. Usually, we don't do town staff, right? Former town staff members. I think we probably leave it with just the current staff folks,
Harbor.
the departments.
So we'll make the correction, send it around again. The intent would be to release it to W.T. Richardson, who would fabricate it.
So is that what basically the sign's gonna look like?
Top.
That's it. There's two. We'll have two. I'm assuming we're gonna have a couple of them that go on
I
the.
think is he a Ree or a Ray? Or Jeffrey?
What was that?
Jeff.
Two signs.
E-R-Y?
Side by side.
Thank you.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, he's a
I'll send
Jeffrey.
you
You're
the,
saying?
I'll send
I'm trying to
you-
remember.
So this is basically for like
I,
ribbon cutting.
I don't think of his full
Ribbon
name.
cutting and then on the
Yeah, we'll,
on
we'll
the
take
fence.
care of it. It's on the town's website.
Construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fence part. Yeah.
If I could just interject for a minute, I would prefer, but I think I defer to Frank's judgment also. I generally refer to myself as Chief Paul F. Armitage, RET, retired.
Okay.
But I don't want to do that, Frank, unless you agree to have it done with yourself.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, you former chiefs, so.
Yep, I
Makes
think
sense
it
to
would
me.
be appropriate
Sure.
to have it on there.
It's a good point, Paul.
Okay, for all chiefs who are retired, we'll add RET to the end.
Comma, RET, period. Yep.
Oh, former, gotcha. Okay.
All right.
So renderings is one that's slightly larger, and, or they're, you said they're both the same size?
They're both
So it's just gonna be
4 feet by
split.
8 feet, landscape orientation.
Some big signs.
And they're gonna go side by side, where on the site roughly you intend?
Well, I think initially they'll be placed where the groundbreaking is, and then they'll be relocated to the
fence.
permanent location.
Yeah, to the fence.
Project website be listed on there as well, just if people want to, where do they go to find out more?
We can do that.
That's a good idea.
Do like a little QR code.
Yeah.
I mean, just make the free QR codes and it's
Could just
pretty
be
easy
the
to do.
Middleton MMC,
You can bip it.
Yeah,
but
It's a good
I
idea.
agree.
It's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, we did add a construction tab to the website,
Did
so
you?
that
Cool.
we have some basic milestone dates of what's going on. We started a blog, so we can add sort of what's going on the site.
Yeah. I think for project updates, like a little blip somewhere, project updates, QR code, and people bip it.
Bill, just one question. I know way back we talked about some sort of like a time-lapse photography throughout the project. Is that
Yeah, I
still
think
gonna
that's
take-
going on, right?
Yeah, I just dropped off the webcam today. The power will be next week, so we'll get the camera set up shortly thereafter. Yeah.
Very cool. That's gonna be slick.
And that'll be like a live camera feed,
Yeah.
so anybody could at any time go on.
It's a
it.
live feed, but it's on through their website. They also stack up a 2-minute time lapse, so they keep adjusting the time lapse based on as the project gets older. They sort of stitch in the thread, so it's kind of nice.
That's pretty good. That's gonna be pretty slick, I think.
Yeah.
WT Rich is going to put 2 cameras, one for each building,
Awesome.
and we'll have those up on the website.
Beautiful. Perfect. Very cool. Okey-dokes. All right, I think we've hammered the sign. Let's move on to B, Amendment 11, irrigation well.
So this is the amendment that we've been talking about a couple meetings, revised again at the last meeting, but for review by the building committee. You can sort of see the revisions that have been made here. Bola backed out the testing,
Okay.
but they added in some additional work
A lot.
to determine whether the existing well is viable to be used for irrigation, meaning does it have enough water pressure to be able to run an irrigation system for the site.
Right.
And if it does, that's great. If it does not, there are other alternatives, either using the water line into the site to provide the water for the irrigation, or using a combination of the well and the water line. But that's to be determined and to be engineered.
There's also 2 options too.
Yeah. Yeah, they did it as different options, right? I mean, just as we get into it, I mean that I have sticker shock. I mean, I've done my own for a park, my own irrigation spec. It basically was a performance spec that most of the the landscapers can handle. So if whoever WT Rich is hiring for a landscaper usually can just handle this and provide you submittals on it and do it that way. I mean, mine came in from my park. I want to say it was $25,000 fully installed for like a park that's, I want to say maybe a third the size of this. So I mean, scaling it up, it's probably 60% of the overall cost for the design alone compared to what I had. And I mean, we also evaluated going with a well and drilling a well on site and doing all that. So to me, I would prefer to see maybe calling a couple of other, either Skillings for the well and kind of talk to them about it first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they look at the pumps and all that. That's what they do is they pump the well to make sure you have enough flow. That's kind of how it works. That's 20 grand tops, and then you have, the performance spec to install it. I mean, I'm saying it's probably all in 75 to 100 grand, I would imagine, for everything. So I mean, I would prefer maybe just to at least, rather than move on this, folks, if you guys are all okay with that, to at least maybe talk to a couple of landscapers that do that type of work.
We have the landscaper on the project. We can see if they have somebody they work with for irrigation, and maybe get a proposal through them.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple that, that I've used in the past too, that I mean, the landscaper does the irrigation themselves. It's not like they're bringing somebody else to do it. It's
Yeah,
literally-
well,
we bid a couple of projects that way. Like I said, it was just a performance spec saying, you got to irrigate this area. Here's, a couple of kind of parameters, but, pretty straightforward, honestly.
Yeah, so your feeling is the cost is much too high.
Yeah.
Go and get another price from another source.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Gotcha.
Steve, is that something that your landscapers could price?
They would need the performance obligations in order to price it. So if there's the design criteria over the coverage,
Yeah,
then
I can get you that.
the,
That's
the, the one tricky part of it is the electrical serving the pump.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's going to need to come from GGD.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that is
Yeah.
a separate price. That's $2,100, like $2,000.
yeah,
that should be 21, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there will, like, I'll be transparent with you. There may be a little higher premium because I don't think there's not irrigation right now. So like to bring in a whole new vendor underneath the landscape sub, like there's just a little bit more of a premium with that.
Unless the landscape sub does it,
They'll sub it out. I know it is.
Okay,
They'll sub it out.
sub it out.
Especially on this size, complexity. Like if we were just going to do a few rings,
But I'm saying it's probably 50% of the cost for this proposal right here. What we think it's actually going to cost to put in the ground. So I mean, that's that. Unless I'm way off base, but I mean, I did one, so I can imagine it being.
what I'm looking at right now, and forgive me, I'm just seeing this. 58 grand is design only cost.
It's actually 48,
48.
because they took the testing out.
Yeah.
Now, reality is we've got to hire Skillings to do the testing, so,
That's 20. That's about I mean, if they're drilling a new well, it's 20.
they don't
grand,
have to
right?
drill a new well.
No, I understand that. So
Yeah.
I'm saying to drill a new well is 20,000.
Yeah.
And then realistically, all of the cost would just go to whatever the sub is. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a 10% markup or whatever, but still, where
Because the well hasn't been used in a while,
Yeah.
they'd have to frack the well to get
Potentially.
flow again, and then they'd have to put a pump on it to basically drain it, see what its recovery is,
Understood.
to give us the parameters of what the well can do,
yeah.
so that somebody else could design it. The
There's
other scope we have
there's,
too is
there's also, depending if it's cased in the screening, they can clean screens. There's a bunch of ways depending on what's there. That's done too. I mean, I've done that for water supplies where, we kind of switch out and rotate our wells in one of the other communities I worked in, so.
okay.
So the bottom line is, we're getting one more number or two more numbers, or?
Yeah, this to see if it comes in cheaper. I can't imagine it would,
Just so we can do a
We
comparison.
can always see if maybe Bowler has another sub-consultant that they might have. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they do or not, and then we can go through the landscaper and see if they have somebody and get two other prices that way.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the landscapers typically will do it, so it just they
Makes
lay it
sense,
out
guys?
and- I'd rather save the money. It's not worth the, spending it just on design here.
Size difference.
Is there any so I assume once this is all wrapped up and they're going to be trying to reestablish lawn back there after pushing dirt around for the better part of a year or so, I would imagine there's
A
a
little bit of
cost
credit.
built in for watering what they're seeding out there. Are we able to back out any of that cost to take off of some of this? Or is
Like
it
if
not
you're,
even worth doing the math
so
on
let me
that?
just make sure I understand this correctly. The full intent of this is take the irrigation, take the existing well that's there, refurbish it in some way, shape, or form, or
Yep.
new well, and then irrigate the entire site based on that well.
It's really the town green.
The town green, town green.
The front portion.
Yeah.
right?
So,
Portions of the
yeah.
buildings too, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. If it makes sense to do that, we want to do that too.
Inherently, yes, I call it establishment. There's establishment costs associated with the landscaper that he owns to get the grass grow. Where we don't have irrigation on site, we call it a watering truck, like he's got some kind of obligation there. Yes, there is a credit back and an ad for that relationship, but there is still an inherent risk of responsibility that he's going to cover for establishment that he's going to go back and have to spray things back. So it doesn't necessarily, that risk doesn't go away just because of irrigation versus hand watering.
Right.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine, I mean, I'm not expecting like, tens of thousands of dollars, I mean, maybe 10 grand, right, tops. I mean, I can't see this being like
No.
that cost.
Keeping my eyes on any potential credits.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, yeah, hey, 10 grand's still 10 grand, right?
Yeah, and to the extent, like in like these types of situations where there's a base ownership and a net increase, like we will always try to show you it's a credit of $5 and add 10 for a net $5 increase, so everyone can see that the base is accounted for, and you're only paying the net increase.
Cool. All right, I think we're good on that one?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Status of conformed documents.
Those are being checked by our office. I'm hoping they'll be out the end of this week. We put a push yesterday on getting the permit documents out. And those went out last night, and I guess the town's portal only allows 25 megs. So we brought all the drawings back,
There you go.
chopped them up into little bits,
Yeah, there you go.
sent them off again.
Okey dokes. There you go.
So,
All right.
permit drawings I now are, I think, are loaded on the portal. Is that true, Steve?
I didn't hear.
The permit drawings are now on the portal.
Yeah, it was either last night or this morning they got finished up.
This morning. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, construction manager updates, presentation on final GMP budget. I think this is good news.
Yeah, we'll be quick. We're all set.
So I
Better be, because that's what I said at town meeting, so.
So just from a format perspective, I'll follow a similar layout that we did last meeting. GMP, final GMP overview, award status, which are all my subcontractors, followed by, I put up a new slide this time, schedule status, just so you can see where you are. I'll probably use that as the benchmarking slide going forward, so we're all kind of looking at the same thing. And then kind of close with any questions or answers, but I'll happily take any questions during the process, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So a little recap, pre-construction costs, $124,000. I didn't delete that extra zero, I apologize. I just saw that now. Amendment 01 was the last amendment that was voted on for, call it the interim GMP in those awards. $39,088,000, that didn't include the pre-construction costs. Moving forward, we do have the final GMP that was sent and is in front of everybody. Original target budget, $59,461,354, which included the backing out of that AV scope from last time. Okay. The interim GMP that we presented back on 4/16, $58,801,000. We arrived at the final GMP, $57,999,887. Total net savings against the target budget, $1,461,467. So, well done there. Really happy to present that to the town of Middleton, and you guys get that benefit. We're real happy to see that. Amendment number 2, which is what is in front of you tonight, to increase the previous authorizations. Total from previous authorizations, which includes the pre-construction costs, $39,213,562. Amendment 2 was $18,911,235 increase from previous awards, arrives you at the total contract value, which includes pre-construction costs, $58,124,797. On the right is just the summary table of the breakdowns. The top of it, on the top section, what you can't really see, but is the basically that recap that I was going for beforehand of the previous construction costs, along with RTA 1 for the trade bids. The remaining work, that next line item down, $14 million, is the physical cost of work, which is like your Division 2 through Division, call it 34, if you will, 33, of what was not included in Amendment 1. That cost of work line item, $14,993,000, round numbers. We next then have the alternates. Alternates 1, parking lot canopies, $274,000. 2A, which is the town hall permeable parking overflow, $161,000. Alternate 2B, it's permeable parking at the public safety, $131,000. And finally, alternate 3, the gazebo, $248,849. And just for clarification purposes, That is also all the hardscape around the gazebo. It's not just the gazebo area. It's not just the gazebo structure, excuse me. I know that may have been confusing last time, but the way the alternate was structured, it was the entire hardscape. If, in theory, if that was not accepted, it would just be lawn where that current area is.
Included within the 248, 849, do we have any, are we running electrical to the gazebo or anything like that, or is that gonna be, is that not included?
We're getting that priced. There's an ASI, or a pricing request that's being issued by Context that includes that scope, so we'll have that cost soon. Yeah.
Is it just power, gonna do some uplighting or anything, or?
So it's lighting the town green along with lamps along the pathway and then powering the gazebo.
Very good.
Yep.
Coming down to the last three items, insurance and bonds. It's our general liability. The builder's risk has been backed out of that, and just our standard bonds, payment performance bonds. The fee associated with the overall scope, and then the GMP contingency, which is a contingency value associated with the overall work. It is the percentage we agreed to, or we presented, excuse me, at our initial proposal interview. I believe it's 1.75%. But I will double check my math on.
It was lower than everybody else.
There you Probably shouldn't have said that. Can you take that off the video, right?
So within this amendment, we are looking to do all of the alternates? I thought we
So
agreed to canopies, gazebo, we were finalizing if we're moving or not moving, and that whole deal.
So they
then
are
we're
all
holding
rolled
on
up in the
page.
overall value, and I have hold twos, if you will, with my vendors.
Okay.
To 9/1/24. So if the like you could if you want to stay with the exact same scope, I have up to September 1st to authorize them to proceed with it. But your funds are within this value.
All right.
So, the gazebo, that's something that is being evaluated right now
Yeah.
for, whether we are going to relocate or not.
So we would approve it now and then decide if we're moving forward with it later on?
You've
That's
got
kinda
time.
that's how we're gonna do it?
Yep.
Okay, all right, just so I understand, I thought we weren't including it, that's why I was asking.
Yep.
If you don't authorize, like we don't do it, then technically I would be giving you back a credit.
Beautiful. I like it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Folks, questions? Seems a lot of heads shaking no.
I think I'm good.
We'll take a motion to approve Amendment 2,
Okay.
GMP.
Steve, you want to clarify, are there any other bid buys after this other than,
Yeah, fair point. So right now you are authorizing like an overall GMP. I still have other people to buy out associated with this, but I've, for all intent and purposes with you, locked in a line item with that value.
those numbers are protected within the GMP?
They are protected within the GMP. If there are overruns or underruns, those specific buyout items, it goes against that contingency that we talked about, the 1.1 million. Any savings goes back to that contingency.
Yep.
Any overruns, I take out of that, so that the overall, call it 57 million, excuse me.
Yep.
That does not increase against you. Okay?
All right, so we still have $1 million and some change in contingencies. Is that the total contingency?
Well, there's two contingencies.
That's why
There's the
I'm
GMP
asking.
contingency.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
And then there's, sorry, I slid this around. So
The construction contingency.
GMP contingency, that's within the W.T. Rich's contract is the 1.159 number. So I know you can't see it. Let me zoom in. Magnify slide. There we go. There you go.
Yeah.
The owner, we have a separate owner's construction contingency.
Right.
The number I don't have on the top of my head.
Right,
It's
that's
in
what I
the
was
budget
just making
updates
sure.
when I give it to you once a month.
Yep, fair enough.
Usually tracks around 5% of the ECC,
Yep.
right? But that's on our side, that's not on
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, so let's make a motion here for approval of Amendment 2 for $18,911,235.
So moved.
Do I got a second? Second from Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Good work, folks.
Thank you.
You want
We
to go
appreciate it.
over
Beautiful.
your...
It was good work. These guys did a great job working on this and continuing to work on de-scoping, even at the final hour to get the subs down. They saved some money just since they were here at the last meeting. And when you put it all together, how long ago was it that we were targeting the 60 million, and they came in at within 2% or thereabout of the target, which is pretty remarkable, under, too, so there's some savings there that theoretically we hopefully don't spend, so we'll get back to you. So.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
I'd like to hear. All right.
Can we just go through it a little further update with that?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, keep going.
So just quickly touching on the award status. One more trade bid was awarded this time period, which was the painting trade bid. The glass and glazing was moved over to a non-trade bid side based on the quantity of bid results. On the non-trade side, 8 more scopes were awarded, structural wood trusses and siding, detention equipment, demo and abatement, windows, glass and glazing, metal panels, carpet tile, upwell partitions, food service equipment and appliances, and then the interior roller shades. So approximately 17.6 million total awarded. Control budget of that, of the overall non-trade value is 27 million. We have about 8 to 10 million to go based on where I'm at right now, because you did realize some savings in the total awards to date.
Great.
Just a quick question, we don't have to go real deep down the rabbit hole. A&A Windows, I see that, I've worked with them in the past, great firm. Are the windows gonna be prefabricated units, or are they gonna assembly in the field?
Prefabricated.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rabbit hole at all.
That's it, that's all I got.
So here I have a general, project schedule outline. Red line kind of indicates like where we are today type. So you can kind of see the overall flow of the project. TH represents town hall. PS represents public safety building. Broke it up into 2, 4, 5 categories. Foundations, structural steel to envelope, interior framing and rough, interior finishes, and then the testing and closeout. So right now, we're kind of in the mobilization, site clearing phase. As you can see, like driving down the street, a lot of dirt being pushed around. That's going to continue. The mobilizing will continue over the next month or so. You saw the trailer showed up today. They're coming back tomorrow and Friday to build them in place, and then we'll get power going and kind of have an actual physical office presence. Site clearing, prep, that will kind of continue through until I put August. It could kind of go into September, kind of how we phase those things, but the main meat and the potatoes is getting to the start of foundations, which will happen in July. We're going public safety building first, followed by town hall from a sequence and flow standpoint. We will get into structural steel in the fall, October and November, for public safety and town hall, and continue on to interior roughs starting early spring as the envelope allows me to, so I can get weather tight, get the roof on, get the trusses up, and then flow into finishes from late spring all the way through into the end of, call it the end of the year of 25, and then those last couple months of testing in December and January. That, that is the outline right now, and just, to preface that with, that is assuming I have functional capabilities with power. So we'll continue to monitor that. We'll continue to try to put plans in place. Like we talked about last time, you still have that allowance cover within the GMP to provide those temporary measures as things become available that we need to implement. Okay? The only other thing on schedule, we're starting public safety first, just because we view that, excuse me, and we see that as the longest path. At some point, the town hall does catch up, and it will kind of lap the public safety building, but our main focus is public safety because it's going to have the longest duration. Yep.
Quick question. Site fence along 114, is the plan to put some scrim on that to keep dust blowing from the site onto the 114, or?
I believe so. Let me just double check with my site guy. He's still got about a week to finish up. There's a lot of fence out there.
We talked about
but
that.
understand.
That was
I
a
don't
long time
remember.
ago.
Huh?
I thought we said you were going to at one point. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's going on.
I just got to check and see where he's at with it.
Cool. Other questions on schedule, folks? All right, seeing nothing. Doesn't sound like we have any of those questions.
We're good?
All right.
Yep. Do you need me to go back to the first page for your votes to see dollar values?
Yeah, I'll do it
They
again.
already took your vote. You already took a vote.
We already voted.
Oh, my
We
bad.
did the vote. Yeah, we did the vote. Yeah. We're efficient here today.
Don't
So we're good, huh? So I'm all set.
Yes.
So thank you, and once again, thank you for the approval, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, will we have the contracts ahead of the select board meeting on Tuesday, or?
Yes,
Okay,
I have it already drafted.
super.
Yep. We'll make sure we get it out in the morning. We'll send it to Liz.
We've got it on the agenda, so
Yeah,
whenever you can get
I
it
have
to us.
track changes. It's a 2-page document. It's Liz's document. All I did was make edits.
Change the numbers, yeah.
It changed a few numbers, so I have the
Okay,
track
no worries.
changes. She should be able to review it very quick.
We've got it on the agenda, so we're ready.
Yep.
So I think we already talked about building permit status, right, at this point? So that, right, did we talk about that?
Foundation permit is in place. Building permit will come after as-built of foundations, you know, all that process, but documents are ongoing. And then in terms of trade permits, they're in the process of pulling them now that we have the foundation number.
That schedule you showed us is pretty close. That's for now, is that gonna continuously change, or is that pretty much what we're gonna
No, I mean,
stick by?
that's the meat and potatoes outline of it,
Gotcha.
right? Like the in-betweens of did electrical start on Monday versus Wednesday?
Now, what I'm getting is, Brian, are we uploading that to the website to let the townspeople know where we're at, or are you thinking no?
I will provide a more representative copy of the schedule if you'd like
Roger
to
that.
upload.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, right now we have milestones described. But we'll try and get a little bit more information on there.
Yeah, I don't want to go too super crazy with that, though. I think we kind of want to keep it up a level, you know? 10,000-foot view here still.
Yeah, yes, that's where I'm at.
It's early.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Neighborhood meeting, early June. Let's talk about that. That sounds exciting. I love neighborhood meetings. They're my
Right.
favorite. They're my absolute favorite.
So we, just to let the neighbors, you know, meet the construction team, voice any concerns they might have, give them an idea of what's to come, so that we're going to meet, I think, tomorrow, is it, to go over sort of the details and agenda. It's going to be early June. We haven't fixed the date yet, but it's going to be either the 10th, 11th, or 12th at night.
All right, I think we probably should have
We'll finalize
some...
it, and then we'll send out an update so everybody's aware.
Okay, yeah, I think we should definitely have some building committee presence at that, for sure. All right,
So what are the tentatives?
June 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Thanks.
Yep. And it'll be an evening meeting, probably 6 o'clock,
Probably here.
probably here.
Nowhere else to go.
Right.
Yeah, 12th is when I'm not going to be around on the 12th, so if we could try to do 10th or 11th, that would be ideal for my schedule.
10th would be preferable for me, if you can do it.
Cool.
It's good to know. Okay.
No to the 12th, 10th, or 11th.
10th is what they prefer.
10th is the preferred. Okey dokes. Other topics. Meld generator, I think we're tabling that for tonight. Is that correct? Yep,
correct.
that's tabled. It looks like we have groundbreaking ceremony scheduled for the 14th, 12:30, folks. I'm going to do my best to get there. Rain date is on Monday the 17th. I'll be coming up from the Cape, so hopefully I can get there in time.
Figured it's out at 3.
I'm assuming you all folks are going to be there?
Yes.
Yes. Beautiful. You at least need the vice chair there, my friend,
I'll be
in case
there.
I don't get there.
I will be there.
All right. Meeting minutes approval, May 1st. Have we had a chance to review, folks?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
Okey-dokes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, do we have a meeting date for our next one? He's been awfully efficient today, folks.
I have a suggested date, but I don't know how soon you folks need a meeting.
We can do it once a month now, or however you want to do
So-
the schedule.
Wednesdays of June seem to be tough, but the next Wednesday of June, it'd be the 26th. We've got a week from now, which seems too soon, 2 weeks from now, which also seems too soon. The week that I think, Bill, you're away, and we're hoping to have the community meeting, then it's Juneteenth is on Wednesday, so it's closed for us, and then the 26th. So I was looking at the 26th unless there was an objection.
No, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right. Does that
I'm
sound good
looking
for
at
you
June
folks?
26th for an evening.
Yep.
Does that work for everybody else?
On my end.
Yeah.
Is it realistic to always maybe do the 4th Wednesday of every
One
month?
of them signs
For
off.
scheduling purposes for people, or is
We
that?
attempted
PCOs,
to do that,
and then-
and then sometimes we go off the rails, but that's generally the pattern.
I enjoy the back-to-backs, with ZBA the following day, it's great, Have my Middleton week.
Get it out of the way.
Get it all, get them all rocking and rolling the same week. All right. Anything else from you folks before we accept the motion to adjourn? All right. You folks, you all came here, so nothing to say? All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.